Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG World 2020. Thank you so much for being here today. We are going to be playing with a kind of a rogue deck, an anti-meta deck. Now that the meta has stabilized and Fire is being so dominant, I think that this deck might have a good chance in the meta game. Spiritomb hits very hard with its Anguish Cry attack, 10 damage plus 30 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. And then once during your turn before you attack, you may put 1 damage counter on this Pokemon. You start building up the damage literally every turn with your ability, and also the Rainbow Energies add to your damage output. We also have the Hustle builds in order to increase our damage output, and then we have Frosslass, which is also a pretty good attacker. The Spiteful Sigh attack can deal up to 140 damage as long as you play 7 damage counters on the Frosslass, and that means you deal 280 to a Registeel, so obviously that's really nice because that is a one-hit KO. Icy Wind is not too shabby of an attack either. But the main idea behind using Frosslass is using Spiteful Sigh and getting the advantage over the Charizard decks along with the Hustle build. Now, we do have Baby Puzzle to try and hit Pikarom for a lot of damage, but the way we're going to try and beat Pikarom is probably with Shrine of Punishment spam. We do have a Jirachi based engine along with the Elms, because Elms can find the Spiritomb, which is nice, along with the Mew to protect our bench from a potential Tack Bolt. We have Hoopas as well in order to help deal with Malamar, which would otherwise be a pretty awful matchup, really, because our Pokemon have very low HP. Although I feel like without the Lysander Labs, the usefulness of Hoopa might not be as great as we would like it to be. Perhaps an increased amount of Hoopas, even up to 4, I would argue, might be useful to deal with Malamar, because it does have some uses in other matchups. And then we have the Substrike line to help with the sprint ability. We also have the Nightcap Nihiligo in order to get a last big damage output when our opponent is down to 2 prize cards remaining, so that could be very useful. And since we do have a bunch of Rainbow Energies, we can play all of these very nicely combined different type attackers. Now, of course, we rely from the Stellar Wish to find us the top cards, the trainer cards that we might need for the next few turns by looking at the top 5 cards. We have Elms, Cynthia, and Build in order to help us find Pokemon, but also search for the different pieces that we do need. We have 4 Pokecoms, as we do have a high count of Pokemon, and in order to find the right one at the right time. We have the Custom Catchers to make sure that we're targeting the Pokemon that we need to. We have the Adventure Bag to search for the escape boards, or the Hustle Belts at the right time. We have a Reset Stamp to handle any pressure from our opponent and reduce their outs. We have 3 switches as well to switch around our Pokemon. And then we have a very nice amount of energy, the Single Beast, the 4 Rainbows, and then an even split of 2 Dark Energies and 2 Water. So let's jump into a ladder and see. Well, we also have the... Oh, did I not start it? We also have the... yeah, I don't think I started. We also have the Shrine of Punishment to increase our damage output, help with those little damage counters, and make sure we are getting some extra damage that way, which might help with the damage output towards the end. So let's see how well we can handle this. So it seems like we're up against Pikarom, right, based on the previous screen. Dark type Pokemon probably Hoopa, Metal Pokemon obviously Jirachi, and then Lightning type Pokemon Pikarom. And then based on the sleeves, I would feel confident in saying so. And not the best starting hand for sure. Not the worst, not the best. No way to get an attack of on turn 1 so far. Finding Jirachi and getting a Spiritomb down, always nice. If we found an Elms off of the Jirachi, that wouldn't be terrible at all. We both start Jirachi, so ideal starts for the both of us. Now this deck, as I said, it's mainly designed to counter Registeel. The Hoopas obviously help counter Malamar, though without Lysander Labs I'm not so sure how useful they are. And then Pigrom, definitely a difficult-ish matchup, but if you manage to get a... Wow, he's really gonna custom catcher to prevent me from starting the Jirachi? That's crazy. That's such a waste of custom catchers. That is such a big waste of custom catchers. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch, my friend. Thank you, though. And I'll go ahead and Stellar Wish. I do find a Cynthia, so I'll definitely be using that to reshuffle my hand. Definitely gonna attach this here, definitely gonna attach this here, because I do want to thin, and I'll bench the Mew now that my opponent has played 2 custom catchers very unnecessarily. Very, very unnecessarily. I feel in a much better position to just bench the Mew and prevent him from having that big... Wow, if I had found the Rainbow, I would have just knocked out the Jirachi this turn. Okay. I feel okay doing this. I definitely feel okay doing this. I only hit for 40. That's okay. I mean, I don't have the best combination of Pokemon anyways. If my opponent somehow whiffs the turn 2 attack, then we're in a great spot, I would say. We would be in a great spot. But we'll see. There's the Aura, there's the Dene, so we know my opponent will have at least 1 Lightning in the discard pile. If he doesn't manage to counter Stadium, that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There's the Dene change. 1 energy only in the discard pile. Goes for a Stellar Wish. And then we win. Alright. So, I don't know. I feel like my opponent sequencing, it was fine, but I don't know, using up the 2 custom catchers right there, that felt really bad. Honestly, that felt really bad. He also didn't get an attachment down for the turn, so that definitely didn't help his case at all. Not sure what happened there. Maybe he whiffed energy. Well, he definitely whiffed, right? Because then he Volknered and discarded the 1 energy he grabbed. So a bit unlucky there. A bit unlucky there for my opponent. But yeah. Now we're up against Malamar, which, as mentioned, is definitely not a great matchup, especially with the Spiritombs needing damage on them in order to deal extra damage, and then the spell tags just completely wrecking your bench. Along with Frosslass needing to inflict self-damage. So I'm not sure 2 Hoopa will do the trick. I am not so sure 2 Hoopa will actually do the trick. I do somehow manage to start Jirachi again, but this time with an absolutely awful hand. This can only improve if I do find an Elms of some sort. But other than that, it's not looking great. There's the Mimikyu start. Not the best start for Malamar for sure. Definitely you're looking to start Jirachi. There we see the Acrobike. Losing a spell tag, I am very happy to see that. I am very, very happy to see that. And we see a Pokemon Fan Club. Okay. Definitely not what you expect to see. I'm very surprised by that. It's just overall, Lily and Cynthia are stronger. So it does get my opponent an Inkay and a Jirachi, so I guess it's fine. I would kill for a Pokemon Fan Club right about now. I would actually kill for a Pokemon Fan Club right about now. So Rainbow plus 1 Building Spike KOs Jirachi. That's really strong for a Spiritomb to pull off. That's actually really strong for a Spiritomb to pull off. Okay, so definitely not the best top deck. And a very unlucky set of cards of the Stellar Wish. So I grab the adventure back so I can thin. But then unfortunately, that is all I will be doing. I don't think I'm at risk of getting KO'd here, which is good. Once again, my opponent, like my previous opponent, played the 2 custom catchers unnecessarily. This opponent also did that by playing down that spell tag on that particular Malamar. But I mean, who am I to judge? Okay. Another spell tag down. Let's see, a Pokegum puts back the Jirachi. There's the Inkay. Off to a slower start for sure in this game. And my opponent's just gonna go for a Filch. So the spell tag on the Mimikyu is an issue because now if I was able to find like Rainbow plus whatever else, come on. What even is this? Jeez. I'm only still in this game because my opponent's deck is just not the greatest. Finding an Elms finally next turn would actually be decent. Because I don't mind sprinting away this hand. I would lose the custom catchers or 2 energies looking for a rainbow to get a KO. There's the other Filch. Now an extra water. Jeez. What on earth is happening right now? That's 3 whiffs off of the Stellar Wish. Do I really just sprint away this hand? I don't think I can do that. I definitely don't think I can do that. So do I just grab another Jirachi? Yeah, I do. That is the plan. Well, I guess I could have grabbed that Hoopa to start pressuring. Yeah, that might have been better to just grab the Hoopa. You know, let's restart this hand. This is just awful so far. Alright, I'll play down the Shrine. I don't mind my opponent playing down a Viridian Forest. To counter that, I do get a Cynthia, and fine. Fine. I'll Building Spite. And then, like I said, the issue is I trade 1 for 1 once I have a spell tag on my Spiritomb. That's the issue, right? And then my opponent gets an attack off. That's the other issue. But at least we got something on it. Like, we got finally the supporter we've been looking for the past 3 turns. Could have gotten a knockout on the Inkay or on the Jirachi last turn. If I'd grabbed that Hoopa, then I would have been at the mercy of the Mimikyu. Well, that has been okay, honestly. Maybe that was a better play, to just start off more aggressively. Discarded a Psychic off of the Acrom. Yep, so now double Mimikyu. Wow. I mean, I don't think I mind this actually. I lose the Jirachi and then I respond with a Spiritomb. and Mimikyu can't copy, and because there's 3 spell tags gone, if my opponent just keeps using the Giratina, then I'm not gonna lose out on the trades from the Spiritomb, so that's perfectly fine. Right? Until she finds the 4th spell tag. That's when we start being a little in trouble, but that's fine. So we're finally getting started with this game. It feels like it just took a while to start, but we're finally gonna get started off of this game. And we'll see just how bad the matchup ends up being. Okay. Wow, puts a damage on the Mimikyu. I am surprised by that. So, right now, I do KO the Giratina with the Spiritomb, so that seems solid. The switch would have helped me get the KO last turn. Though, did I want to get the KO? Probably not. Gonna go ahead and play the Cynthium. These hands, they're amazing. Alright, I'll definitely grab the Elms, because that guarantees I have follow-up knockout next turn. And then I don't mind benching the Ditto. And do I want a Building Spite? Yeah, I guess I do. There's no way my opponent misses knockout next turn, right? So I might as well just use it. Yep, and then I'll Anguish Cry. Maybe the rainbow on the Blitzel might have been okay. So we trade 1 for 1. What we need is Hoopa to even out, or to put us ahead in the prize exchange. That's what we need. Because right now she started the exchange, so I need her to whiff a KO in order for me to get back ahead. And that's where the 2 Hoopas will come in extremely, extremely handy. There's the Distortion Door, has access to energy with the Viridian Forest, has the Psychic Recharges. I'm not be surprised if we saw a 3rd Malamar now. Espion the Oxys would just, of course, clean up the whole game for my opponent, basically. Especially towards the end. So we'll just have to see what we can do here. All right. There's the Stellar Wish. Treasure. There's the 3rd Malamar. But see, it's, once again, my opponent started the turn by using Distortion Door and then Stellar Wish. I mean, Distortion Door and then Psychic Recharge, which there's no need, right? There's definitely no need to do that. But okay. I can see maybe the Hoopas being the difference makers. We shall see though. We shall see. Okay. So now puts the damage on the Giratina. Does that change anything? No, because 80 damage is still not enough. Alright, so is this where I go in with the Hoopas? I feel like it is. I'll grab a Snorunt, and then a Spiritomb, and a Mew. And then I will go ahead and Stellar Wish here for another Elms, sure. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to Pokegum away the Mew for the Hoopa. And then the Hoopa definitely takes a KO here. I'll bench this Snorunt. I'll evolve into the Frosslass right here. And now my opponent will only be hitting with the Mimikyu. He will only be hitting for 10 damage. So even that's not enough to put me in range. And then do I want to bench the Spiritomb? No. I just want an Evil Admonition here. Deal a bunch of damage. My opponent whiffs a knockout, so now we are able, hopefully, to get ahead afterwards. Damage on the Frosslass isn't super impactful. Not super impactful. I could attack with it as well if I wanted to. The custom catchers to avoid the spell tags is probably what we want to do, but I feel like my opponent will look at the way this game has played out, and based on my opponent's mechanics so far, I'd imagine she's gonna see, oh, I only deal 10 damage with Hoopa. Why would I attack with Mimikyu? Right? I mean, attacking with Giratina is also fine, I guess. Okay. So, a very grindy and long game we have here. Very grindy and long game. Decides to just go into the Guardian Giratina to get the KO, which is fair, right? It's definitely fair. So this is where I regret not benching my Spiritomb. I mean, okay, so Guardian Giratina is also a way I can get ahead, because she takes a prize here, and then I two-shot the thing. So this Guardian Giratina is worth 3 prizes, will only take 2. So by the time I'm done with it, I'll be down to 1 prize, she'll be at 2. So the end result is the same. Hoopa definitely did its job. Most certainly did its job. Alright. I feel like this is the turn I attack with the Snorunt, right? I'll go ahead and Professor Elms here, grabbing the double Spiritomb, and I think there's merit now to the Mew, just to protect my bench, to make sure that Giratina doesn't just snipe here. And the Mew also helps me bypass the spell tag on the Mimikyu, so that's also useful. And then I definitely want to reinforce that with this for a water. And I'm attacking with this person. So then I'll evolve. Well, I should Stellar Wish as well. Custom Catcher is definitely a good thing to have here. Though it might just be better to have the Guaranteed Cynthia for next turn. Alright. So I'll go ahead and attach, I'll go ahead and Hustle Belt. And I'll bench this guy and this guy. And I will use Building Spike with both. Now, if I recall correctly, after I use Spiteful Sigh and play 7 damage counters, the thing should activate, right? the thing should activate? No, it does not, actually. Huh. I thought it did. I thought the hustle bell did activate once you did that. Maybe it's just a PCGO thing, but I seem to recall it did work like that. Okay, so there's a Mimikyu. He needs to place at least 1 damage counter on itself. Okay, so now it comes down to me finding custom catchers. It's gonna come down to me finding custom catchers here. That was odd how this... I thought it worked. I thought it did work. Oh well. Obviously only places 1 damage counter, that makes a lot of sense. So we promote the Jirachi, then I bench the Mew. Okay, like I said, all I'm looking for now are custom catchers. So I'm actually going to use Viridian Forest to get rid of the Spiritomb. I definitely don't see myself needing that. Maybe I should have promoted something else and then switched to burn that card as well. I need my custom catcher pieces. That is exactly what I need. Reset stamp doesn't really matter. I do have 2 turns to find them. There's 1. That's good. That is definitely good. I will play that. And then I will retreat. And then sure, I'll Building Spite. I don't think I can be hurt by that. And then this won't activate the spell tag. That's great. 1, 2, and then 3 over here, plus the shrine. That's a little bit of extra damage. And my opponent will certainly use Giratina this turn. Missing an energy though, maybe. But the Bills is definitely the best card I could have found off of the prize cards. That Bills gets me, hopefully, the other custom catcher piece. Hopefully the Bills gets me the other custom catcher piece. That's a dream, right? That is a dream. No Ultra Grozma for my opponent, so that's great. The damage placement is kind of irrelevant at this point. We go for the Stellar Wish. Once again, the Stellar Wish should be the first thing that my opponent does, not the second. You shouldn't like lead without Distortion or... Grabs an Acrobike. Why is she... Oh yeah. No wait, why does she have 4 cards in her hand? I stamped to 2, she drew 3. Oh yeah, and found the 4th with Jirachi. Wow, this card's a Viridian. So the other card must have been huge. It was the energy apparently that she was missing. Maybe she was out of energy. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 Psychics. 1 Fighting and 1 Recycle. Is she running 8 energies? Was she out of energies? Maybe she was. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe that's the reason why. You see the double Psychic Recharge. Once again, this also, like preemptively Psychic Recharging onto his 2 Malamars. Doesn't make much sense in my mind. But here we go. So the Mew does go down. I actually definitely don't mind that. The Giratina even gets on the skateboard. So it comes down to, can we find the custom catcher? If we do, we win. If we don't, then we lose. Right? Because she obviously can take another prize card next turn. In the end, her having to play this down ended up making the price trade just as good for us. So now the eternal question, what do we go for first? Do we Stellar Wish first, or do we Bills Analysis first? I feel like since Bills has a deeper reach, we Stellar Wish first, and we just find the card. That works. That absolutely works. So I'm gonna Building Spite, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll retreat, and then I'll double custom catcher, bring up the Garchomp Giratina, and this should 100% be enough damage. More than enough. We are completely okay, and so we are able to close out the game despite our ridiculously slow start, despite the fact that we went behind in the price trade-off, right? If my opponent hadn't benched that Garchomp Giratina, if she had kept on with the Giratinas and then benched that when I was at 2 prices, then it might have been better, right? She had benched that to get her last 2 prizes. It might have been a lot better, but by the way she was playing, it didn't feel like, it felt like she was just desperate to keep getting knockouts. And sometimes it's not about getting an immediate prize card in one turn, right? It's about having a plan to win the game. But yeah, that will be all from me today, guys. Sorry that it was just essentially one game against a terrible matchup. I invite you guys to try out the deck against Registeel, which is the main enemy, of course, and Spiritomb is just overall decently useful against anything that doesn't have spell tags. A third Hoopa might be good against Malamar. But yeah, that will be all for this video. I will be streaming later today, so don't forget to check that out. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.